Hello, this is Miho. So I'm gonna talk about this high energy coming up to us already. You might be feeling it. Some sort of energy is getting stronger, and this time especially, the universe, all the planets are going in the same direction. 10 of the planets are going in the same direction. And they call the New Year's in the universe that happens on March 20th. So New Year's is like our calendar. Everything starts fresh. So it's good to have the good tone for the rest of the year or the rest of your life. And this whole energy is all coming to us so that you might feel good energy. At the same time, you might be feeling that the bad energy is oozing out of you, almost like enough force to cleanse all the pus out of your system. It's kind of gross expression, but I think a lot of people still have those wounds from childhood, like inner child, and it gets really hurt when you're little, but you couldn't do what to do with it, so that it kind of left it being untreated. So you carry that over to the adult time where you just been ignored that wounds or hurt feeling for so long that you have these feelings of uncertainty or the weak point, and you get kind of triggered to react in a certain way. It could be a jealousy, it could be the unnecessary fear, or the fear of being judged, criticized, all kinds of feelings that hasn't been cured and carried on to the adult life. So this time, because of that energy is very high, so it might bring out all those bad stuff out of you. And instead of putting it back to its place, because you just don't want to feel that again, and it brings out very bad feelings and scary feeling or sadness, or it just worries so much, or the tears, right? Because it's so painful. But this is the good time to let it out. You could be crying, or you could be yelling at each other, or arguing about something that is not important, but you're pointing out those unhealed wounds. So because of energy, it's so strong, things that you could have pushed away really deep inside of you, it's now coming out. And I think it's a good thing, because those emotions are usually playing it really low under the radar, and you do your things, so you try things to think yourself happy and happy thoughts and challenges and all that. But if the core, the base has those feelings of unresolved feelings, it really brings you down, and at the crucial time. So this is good to have those feelings of hurt and painful, like almost to the tears, or maybe you be crying, so that you don't need to heal completely. You just need to recognize and take it as the fact that you have this feeling. For me, it's like being judged or being controlled. I still have that hang-ups from childhood memories that hasn't been healed completely. So I still repel that behaviors from others. I really don't like it, and I just don't want to feel the feeling of being judged and criticized and being controlled of. I totally want to go opposite, just let me be free, and don't want to be observed closely, and it just let me be, right? But that's also a good thing that I still have those the hang-ups that it really hurting me in a way. And you might have the jealousy issues that you got hurt so bad that you hold on to the feeling instead of going, well, so what? People do things and people go through things, and it just, rewrite your story and keep going. And when you can do it, that's great. But because you have those feelings still, you haven't dealt with it, completely, which is fine. So when it comes up, that's the time that you face that you do have those unresolved feelings that you pushed away for so long. Every time it comes up and you just don't want to think about, don't want to feel, don't want to revisit that feeling, so you just push it away. But it will be there, and it will come up bigger the next time. So this energy, like everything is pushing very upward. So that means when you're lighter, meaning that you have less emotional baggage, and when a good wave comes, you can go and ride, go with the flow kind of feeling, and it pushes you up to your goal or the place you want it to be. But if you're really heavy with all the emotional baggage, even though it has a good wave coming and pushing you, you just won't go up as high. And because you're putting bad energy to it, you try not to admit it, so that it gets lower and deeper, because the energy is so strong, which means it could go either way, either go up or either go down. So if you want to go up in light, you really go with the flow of this energy. And if you want to stay low and heavy, you do have the energy to push you down even further. That kind of energy that we do have right this time. So use those intangible energy to push you forward and up by letting go of those unwanted feelings, unresolved feeling. It doesn't mean that you will clear everything the next day. It's more like you acknowledge it, that you do have it. This is the kind of hurt feeling that you experienced in your childhood or in your life sometime, and you haven't resolved it. And you do still have struggle dealing with it. But as long as you know you have it, your conscious level will shift, because you're not ignoring it, so that it will get you to the place where you feel much lighter, even though you do have those hang-ups, but you can catch it instead of just reacting to that bad feeling that you don't even know where it's coming from. So by recognizing it, what you're doing is to touch the root, the cause of the whole thing, root cause of it, so that you're treating the cause, the roots. It's same for any wounds on your body, right? When you put the band-aid over, thinking that's nothing, but it could be really deep wound. So you really need to treat, the root instead of just surfacing, and then just leave it, right? It might get infected, it might cause a secondary issues and all that, right? So that it's good to deal with when you notice that those feelings coming up. So if you do encounter, the unnecessary arguments or, the bad feelings, this is because of the energy now is very strong. So it's really pushing, almost like a pus out of your system. So it's good to, have those feelings, even though it seems a bad things, but it's a good things because you don't really have chance to recognize and feel those moments. So instead of pushing it away again, this time you take it and recognize it and accept that you have this, and it will make your life much smoother and lighter, I think, because that's what I've been doing, that instead of ignoring it, because that's the natural process that humans do, I think, as a survival skill, that you just don't want to feel the pain. No one wants to feel the pain. That's why we do have drugs, right? But in a wounds, like in a heart, there is no drug really. So you just put it away, like pretending nothing had happened, right? But it's all there, right? So it's good to recognize and just accept. And you will be able to find solutions because now it's in your consciousness, so that your brain will start looking for to ease that pain or let go of it. And you might get to the point where you feel like, so what? Things do happen. I will keep going. So that when you get to that level of so what, people do have things. People do have, bad things, not knowing most of the time. Or even though, you had a bad experience, but that's done. You're here, you're alive, right? So you start to looking in a different perspective. You have the courage to do that. So as long as you become a conscious about what you're having, that's a great step. So that's the energy, and then it's the lighter you get, the better and faster you go with this really good energy and pushing you forward, so that you get to where you want to be much faster, I think. Okay, so hope this helps, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.